You ever see two legends stand side by side, barely speak, but say everything with just a glance? That was Clint Eastwood and Gene Hackman. Two giants, two forces, same screen, same silence. But behind that silence, a story no one ever really told. Because for decades, these two weren't just co-stars. They were a storm waiting to break. And now, after years of mystery, Eastwood is finally opening up. And what he's saying might just change the way you see both of them. Let's go back to 1971. Clint Eastwood meets Gene Hackman for the first time on the set of The Beguiled. They didn't have much screen time together, but that didn't matter. The moment they were in the same space, you could feel the tension. Not the we hate each other kind, more like two alpha minds clocking each other from across the room. Clint was the cool hand, the quiet one who let a stare do the talking. Hackman? He came in heavy, loud, intense, emotional. They were both pros, but they didn't get each other. Clint thought Hackman was doing too much. Hackman thought Clint wasn't doing enough. That contrast? It never really went away. Clint was all instinct and silence. Gene was all analysis and fire. And when they came back together years later to shoot Unforgiven, that old friction came right back. Stronger, sharper, deeper. Clint was directing now, running the show, and Hackman, playing the villain, Little Bill, power-hungry, cold, brutal. But here's the thing. Their characters weren't just clashing on camera. Behind the scenes, it got personal. Hackman was digging into every line, every beat, trying to get under the skin of his role. Clint? He wasn't about overthinking. He wanted the scene quiet, focused, clean. So when Gene started improvising, Clint stopped the take, didn't yell, didn't argue, just looked over and said, "Do it the way it's written." Hackman didn't like that, not one bit. You had two men, both legends, both right in their own way, trying to steer the same ship in different directions. But here's where it gets real. Even with all that creative friction, Unforgiven became a masterpiece. The tension, it worked. On screen, they were magic, raw, brutal, unforgettable. But once the movie wrapped, so did the closeness. They didn't fall out. They just stopped talking. No press junkets together, no red carpets, no quotes, just silence. And then, years later, Gene was gone. Not passed away, just gone. Retired from acting, vanished from Hollywood. No big farewell, no final role. Just dipped out, quietly. And Clint? He kept going. Acting, directing, evolving. But in interviews, when Hackman's name came up, you could see it. That mix of pride and maybe a little regret. Because Clint knew Hackman wasn't just another co-star. He was one of the few who challenged him, who pushed him, who met him toe-to-toe. They were different, yeah. But they were the same where it mattered. They both gave everything to the work. Clint's never been the type to get sentimental. But as he got older, he started to reflect. And one of the first names he brought up? Hackman. He said it plain. We didn't always agree. But I respected the hell out of him. No drama, no gossip, just a quiet truth from one icon to another. Because sometimes the greatest connections aren't loud. They don't need headlines. Sometimes it's just two men in the middle of a scene, no words, and everything gets said anyway. That was Eastwood and Hackman. And now, with time on his side and a legacy behind him, Clint's making sure people know Gene wasn't just a chapter in his career. He was part of the reason that career meant something. And maybe that silence between them, that was never distance. Maybe it was just respect, too big for words.